What's up, everybody? Just a little follow through with you after the first video of bringing home the fountain. Just wanted to do a walk around and talk about you know, what my plans are with it, what it needs, and backstory that I know about the boat at least. So hopefully you guys enjoyed a little story here. Here's a spot you might recognize from my previous videos over at the in-laws driveway garage where I do most of my work. He's got a pretty professional setup in the garage there, all the tools you could ever want. Father-in-law is the real mechanic. I'm just a ding-dong that tries to do things and need guidance and his help the whole way. But anywho, here she is. Give you a little walk around of the 1995 fountain, 35-foot Executioner. You can tell it's an Executioner model by the window up there. If it's glass, that is a Lightning model. This is an Executioner. Kind of confused with the Fever as well, but regardless, 35-foot single small step in the hull. So you'll see that on each side. Deep V beak in the front, which is Fountain's kind of signature thing here. If you're not familiar with it, how it points out like that. So this boat was painted in 2001. I've been fortunate enough to get in touch with the owner that had it. He actually had it painted, and heard a little backstory about it. Murray and Poop, 2001. So basically what you're seeing here is these kind of stripe lines. That is all stock Fountain styling graphics. The colors have been changed and the flag was added. So I'll show you a picture you'll see right now. So that picture that you just saw was what this boat looked like before it was painted. So you can see it's pretty much the same lines, just different colors, a little more modern colors, and with the checkered flag in there. All airbrushed, so you can see nice little details in it. Even though it was done back in the day, '01, long time ago for a boat. Still holding up pretty good. It's got some nicks and scratches here and there. What do you expect? Overall in pretty good shape. So you can see I got the back hatches all torn apart already. So that kind of goes with what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And that's what's wrong with my Fountain powerboat. So when I left here, this driveway, 550 miles before I got to this boat, I thought I was going to show up and it was going to be, you know, dirty, but little TLC, otherwise turnkey. I was trading that Duramax that you saw in some other videos. Had an 09 Duramax loaded Chevy pickup, pretty cool truck. I traded that and some cash to get this. And long story short, I showed up and did my usual tapping around and checking things out. And I opened this up, and anybody that's looked in engine bays a lot probably doesn't even need to do a tap test on these stringers to tell that those two and those two are about like cardboard. I guess the story I had is gotten at the time was somebody put a generator down in here and they just screwed it into the stringers, and that's what started to rot. You never know. With stuff like this, you got to take whatever the seller is telling you with a grain of salt, and pretty much doesn't really matter anyways, because you got what you got. But needless to say, I wasn't very happy. So then I get tapping around in other places and checking things out, and it didn't look like this when I got it. Obviously, I've done a lot of work inside here, but check this out. Yeah, typical Fountain stuff. You know, this would have been fine if I was told about it, but I wasn't. So I drove 9 hours from Binghamton area to Detroit with my Duramax truck, and I rented a good friend's truck and paid a buddy to drive it behind me out there because I had to leave my truck, right? So how am I gonna get the boat back? I need another truck. So I do all this logistics stuff. I go through all this work, planning, paying. It was like $400 just in gas to get there with the 2 trucks. And this is what I find. Seller wasn't even there. He was in Florida, which is an interesting story all by itself. But I'm on the phone negotiating with him, and took a little bit off. We came to terms. Basically, I have a lot of work to do this winter, and I was hoping for none. But, you know, everything paint-wise, interior, a lot of this boat is really great. It just needs some typical maintenance, and then it'll be better than ever. So it is what it is. It's time to look forward, and here's looking forward. This is what we're about to do. All right, so typical fountain stuff, but really any old boat hasn't been cared for. I'll show you some pictures before this little clip here that you can see the carpet was different. There were some seats in here just laying around, but I ripped it all out. I tore some of this flooring out just to get down to the stringers and see what I'm dealing with here. And this is what I got, essentially. So you can see what I'm looking at. Basically, everything that supports the floor right here, I would call that the floor. This, the floor, is rotted in the cabin. Except for, you know, way down here, there's some stringers. Yeah, I would call those like the main stringers. They're okay, they're solid where I found them, but everything on top of them needs to be replaced. So I'm gonna document this process for you guys. It's my first time really going through this extensive fiberglass type repair to a boat. I've done pretty much everything else mechanically. So thankfully I've got some real good friends that are helping me with, you know, what products to buy and how to do it, and looking forward to the process, really. So let me walk down in here and show you. You know, I mean, this is just pretty much gone essentially, but you can see they don't build them very well from the factory. Air conditioning's down in here. This has got to come out and get rebuilt. The compressor's bad. Thankfully, everything up this way is just dirty. It's like the guy put oil in there and just didn't care, but not rotted. I'll clean this up here, get all this replaced back here, and then pretty cool seating design. I want to put like a little apartment size fridge right here, freezer, so it's actually usable instead of the normal fountain countertop sink cooler that's useless. And then you can see where it used to have the bathroom. Could barely sit a little vacuum inside where the bathroom would be, let alone your butt on a toilet. So nixing that, just gonna extend this cushion. See where L's out right here? That's gonna be squared off and kind of extended to here. So this will be like a nice little chase lounge, second bed area. Back here will just be a little porta potty and storage spot. And coming over here will be the same seating across the front, seating over to here. You can see it like right there where it comes out. It'll straight over the seat. And then everything from here to like here will be a cooler, storage. Gonna move these amps. That's about it really for down in here. Probably gonna go with purple carpet because that's what it was up front, and why not, right? Purple looks cool. That's about it for the cabin. I got half the door being made, so I'll have that fixed up. Got a pretty nice sound system in here. Works pretty good. LED lights kind of all over already. They just need to be mounted better. Most of the gauges work. All the lights and stuff work. Everything, all the little details work. I'm going to get rid of this, put a new one in there just because it's faded and looks like crap. And and then I'll show you kind of a rendering of what I have in mind as far as the interior, what we're gonna do for the cockpit and everything out here. That's all torn apart. These steps down in here, and a lot to the engine. I will show you a picture here. I'll cut to it here in a second and show you, like, from this view what it's gonna look like. So in the garage, this is where all the engine hatch stuff is. You can see it was just, this is original 95. It's cracking bad, it's stiff. Needs to be replaced, obviously. Thankfully, all the foam underneath can just be washed, and the wood is solid, except for one piece up there. That one needs to be done. So all these skins will go down in the basement for the father-in-law to make these. I'll show you part of that picture you saw earlier. You know, these are all going to be done same pattern, so it looks stock, just different colors. These are the headrests for down in the cabin. Got the typical fountain lights. They normally sit down in there and look very dull. They're a cool thing to have, especially from the early 90s. But got some cool LED multicolored lights that'll go on there nice and bright, brighten things up, same as throughout the boat. So lots of stuff to do and think about. Kind of exciting process, really, for me. Shopping's the fun part, finding all the stuff, deciding what to do. We've pretty much got a game plan, and it's time to start cracking on it. So today I'm going to attempt to get everything on the drives disconnected, all the bolts, steering, everything, and then maybe tomorrow or sometime soon we'll pull the drives off the hull and store them inside for the spring. Not much needs to be done to the drives, really. You know, probably just do a fluid flush and maybe repaint them while we got them off. Why not? The big work, other than the cabin and the stringer work in the engine bay, really is just we got the starboard engine taking on a little bit of water and oil, so that goes part of like our first maiden voyage. Why you don't have a maiden voyage video? It was pretty crazy when we were out there, really. So obviously I'm not a know-it-all. I don't claim to be. I'm just a Joe Schmo that loves boating. I don't have a lot of money, and I do what I can do to get out and have a good time. So maiden voyage with this boat, we don't know what we're expecting. I barely ran it on a hose when I bought it, so kind of expecting problems. Father-in-law and I are out. We run it for 10 minutes on the dock, on the trailer, you know, shifting it, making sure everything's good. That's why you see that video of us idling it, shifting it. Everything was great for like 10 minutes. We're like, sweet. All right, it's time to go out. Let's run it, see what she's gonna do. So we push off from the dock, you know, unhook from the trailer, push off from the dock. I'm driving it. We turn around, go about 100 yards, open the engine hatches. We're like, oh, we got a tiny little leak coming out of a hose way down on the bottom of the exhaust manifold. It's just one tiny little hose clamp. We're like, pfft. All right, turn the engines off. Simple fix. Tighten the hose clamp, stop dripping. Sweet. Fire the engine up. Other engine won't fire back up. Okay, didn't do anything but turn it off. What's up with that? I crawled down in the corner, couldn't hear the fuel pump turning on. Find the fuel pump, it's just laying in the bottom of the hull. Wiggle the wires, fuel pump kicks on, engine turns over. Sweet, 2 problems fixed. We're good, we got engines running, let's keep going. I zip tie the fuel pump up, it's hanging up there, we're good to go. And next thing you know, we close the engine hatches, we're pulling forward. We're like, all right, let's put the trim, drives down, trim down, everything, let's get ready to get on plane. Look over here. one of the drives isn't going down. And it was just going down literally 3 minutes ago at the dock. Why is it not going up and down now? Dumb luck, I don't know. Turn the engines off. Figure out what's going on. Down in here, see if I can do this without getting all discombobulated. Trim pumps. This right here, this solenoid, all of a sudden isn't getting power. So thankfully I had a jumper pack because we're prepared for problems. Jump this just to set the trim to about where it is now. Actually, it was about 3. It's where we guessed we could get on plane and have a decent top speed. So that's part of the issues there, is obviously we need to figure out why we're not getting power to that solenoid, fix that, and have the trim working. But we got the trim set. All right, we fixed all the problems. We go, you know, maybe 5 minutes, we stop, we check the engines, life is good. We go 5 minutes, we stop, we check the engines, life is good. We did that 2 more times because we're being cautious, you know. And man, after a while, we're like, sweet, let's push it. We ran it wide open for about 5 minutes. We hit a 69 miles an hour GPS, even with the trim all the way like down to 3. You know, the bow was stuffed in the water, it needed to be raised way up. But we were still cruising along pretty good. Jumped right up on plane, so it was cool to see its potential. And we're like, all right, let's stop, figure out what we're doing now. Life is good, right? We're going to the bar, we're going to camp, what are we doing? We're on Cayuga Lake, we got options. Our buddies were coming out. Like, well, let's slow down and just hang out, drink a beer, celebrate being on the water with this thing, and figure out what we're doing. Let's check the engines again. So we cracked the engine bay, and you look back here, and everything was covered in oil. I mean, all down in here, it's just milky water, soaked oil, shit, nasty. Like, my heart sank. I was like, oh my God. Went from having the time of my life, you know, on cloud 9, couldn't have a better time, to, well, that kind of sucks. Hopefully it's not the engine needing to be rebuilt. You know, now I have to have time to think about it. Hopefully it's just like an intake or some stupid, easy, quick fix. You know, even if it's not, we'll get it taken care of. No, not the biggest deal, but, you know, it was just a crazy day. So turned the engine off, kept one engine on, idled in, got it back to camp, and got really fucking drunk. So that's it, really. We got one engine that, you know, we got to look into. But because we're doing the swingers in the engine bay, engines and drives are coming off, so might as well refresh from both engines while you're out. I got some pretty cool plans with some people that I know to do some powder coating, and I'm gonna go overboard with it because I can't help myself. Got connections, and I'm gonna take advantage of them. And look at that beauty. It just looks so good. It's a pile of crap, but it looks so good. I can't help myself. So I'll keep you guys posted. Lifting the engines, taking the drives, going through everything. I'll try and keep you posted on it. Life's crazy, you know. It is what it is. It's just a passion project for me. I'm not doing this to make crazy money, or, you know, I got a business and a 21-year-old or 21-month-old daughter, and a lot of other things going on. So I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not really doing this for anyone but myself, documenting it. I know there's some people out there that genuinely like watching this stuff like I do. So to the haters, don't care. Good luck to you. To the guys that enjoy it, keep posted. And if you're anywhere near Cayuga Lake, when I get this sucker going, everyone's welcome. I like sharing it. Enjoy, guys.